So we're continuing now with the Red Feast. So like I said before, each of the feasts follows the same basic structure, the structure that was Degyal Rinpoche explained very clearly in his commentary that we went through yesterday. First of all is visualizing the channels. Second is purifying and multiplying. And now we come to the third section regarding the Red Feast, which is actually making the offering, or literally reveling in the emanation, reveling in the emanated display. That's so much.
Tene ta tambo tene za ke pa da mo shi da za ke pa da sa o ma ke ju che tene jampel se de la ha ya ke ju da tene chöze tamje de tene ya la ran so ina dren che ya la mo ba chi ke de jampel che ta thul dur wa se de ta da yi yu tene ni jangwa to perwa ta ya chimbo che ya ke omba hong ho ha ho re ri chingi la che tamje de tene ta ngaran choge tene onjo tishi da giri la ja da ruling ji da genshi la choro pu da ta tan til man ki tra mixer ki chomba ko sa sul pu ga de se pan jo tene rishi khandro ma tene samji khandro ma tene pengo ni gi tene kro para teng ge khandro ta chonsam ki khandro ma chukji la pu ko ti chu che tene rang ishi ki khandro ma chukji san tere do khandro ma na mo tu ga ne so se pa bu chonsam tengo tham che ne 주님 미길고 칸드마 줄직마 사 유저스도 데이팅 줄직스를 때려 땡오 바라를 땡다오 이제 총지의 참지지 이게 주종성 내 공라랑 마치 정말 줄직스다 때 되게 줄직이 안타가 잡도마서 단다 단고 이제 해요 다 뒤에 때문에 초마 나무 남았네 익셀기 때문에 쳐봐 아야 된대오 다다루는 바탐질라 요요 되게 건도 송도 송샤도 lama sonji dam kando tamje do de sangye ri ki kan tan dewa je doji tamje dina sangdo sangju tene pe sida de kan pe tangbu ge yen san ta pe ni pa ge tene che pe sumba ge tene dundu pe ge da mi pa che ne tene ta ma ishi ingle ka ju ma sa tambo tene kar para sangye kando mare de ma ishi ingle ka ju ma sa sangye kando de kan li chulware se na chuing ishi li chulware se ti jong sa de ma ishi ingle kargyurma sa kargyursana namdrus ta truwas te kargyurma u sangi rigi khandroma sa u ni tene ta sangi te karsana sangi rigi khandroma re sa ta u sangi rigi khandroma chikko jire ze te mare sa chutruwa chewa mum da te sa ta kyo ya tene truwa sam ji ma chewa mangbo chik ni ge me ja dong chimbum ge ten na je mum da che sa ta truwa sangi khandru gi tene sangi kanda khane sangi khandru to ma kanda sangi khorang gi khandru la ya ta sangi ri gi khandru ya ringa ye ringa de kanda se panju sangi ri gi tene dorji ri sangi ri gi rinchen ri sangi ri gi pema ri sangi ri gi legir ri ji tele ge te leji ri ya tene ta chong ta tene jin la ji ke he de chewa tungchul mong je re o ta te ni ta na chutruwa chewa bom dang che se ke tang de ke wa re 코로나를 한데 쳤다. 뒤 코로나 때 나지 되게 하다. 이제 코로나 좀 메쳐봐다. 야 때문에 그러봐라 이 시기 뒤 제선 장에 코로나 내 건조 스시 전종선 공부 연딩 전종선 나시 집에 한데세. 얘는 이제 게릴렌 샷된 전종선 야 때문에다 우리 중지게 전티나 된두데 뒤인데 가라 거쳐와 뭐 교주와 제와 문단체 코로나를 한데 쳤다. 근데 촉스긴도 코로나 집에 하다 이제 네 지난 신게 리투게 semjenta jeba da sera da dasan dadasa da drishesha takon da dru job pepshos nginan jiru begitene luigi chujin chigiyos dan drishesha takon rizo da sha tama de ta kangla kang rula gawa ru what is what tamjana ten dunde sulu jene para zan range karba sebab ba nanki jugi chulkine ne cheba purgitela dan drishesha takon ru se ken parche yurmo ingso sol seta dinajin shata yu sangi ri khandula phulni ken parche yurmo tangaron chyo tangge kortamje ken parche ta ken sengende ken la ta ken hobo yore chertine parche sengende ken re parche la yan chi parche nangge parche sangwe parche sangarazo chi parche cheruso nangge parche nanto sol sangwe parche ingso kui chadre kyarsun chesedo chi parche kanare jungshi ki parche sa chu me longeta sangul gyakyo chulo la tsunami ongyo ene megi jikpa lungi jikpa ta ne shukshimbo do da nani shin America kaware che Texas na kawan jikchar lungu chumbo gyane boss jik lungu ken kilometer ngai jik onjon na wa ta ye boss nje chimbo re nganzo mira kaware ja da kora pugo dera ji de do wa ta tinde ge lungi jikpa tine da na megi jikpa megi tine sa cha chimbo megi chitu jikpa do wa te lungi te sangul ge jikpa ta da sangul ge kora sa ja mangbo chola ta wa te ro thamje chi ki parche ese jungshi ki sa chu melunge chi parche nang ki parche se neda nazare lobur de neda se naza duje te ta cancer na shin do da aid na shin ta hepatitis C na shin ta ta tenda naza duja shu tenda na gi do o tila ke nang ki parche ese ta ti na nang parche soi parche se de ka ninjing ke to bare ta sumjing ni je da dang do ni do sha she dang arjan habor do ninjing ke to ba tala ne soi parche ese chi parche nang yo parche soi parche tenga don giant kinzo wangbo ge tene parche lamsun nangla jushi chukwa chi da lugi nasa nangi ge samgi parche sangyo den tamki chugi insu do oma hong bazar guru pema sati hong sen parche lamsun pechi lapchungu do wangso parche lamsun ti gyuwa tere chi jushi chukwa chi da chi parche sachu melongo chukwa da chi parche rese jushi chukwa chi da lugi nasa nangi gek se ti lugi nasa ti nangi parche rese samgi parche sangyo don se samgi parche ninjin dan dre dan chaso nyongba tamje sawi ge parche o tamje chugi ingsu doks ta karba chugi ingsu doks te toba da tabe ingsu doshi ge tan di kansa na ken parche yurmo se maktu se ta shegya chembo ingsu sol sala da ta di solo sol se orasa na lyushata tamje de ne karba uisangi khandola choba phu di choba phu ge masebe ge te korum bunta jata mangba te kor fatin dege tanjira rangi luidi shata tamje temidu chewa polni tan nanjirba daja nangi tin chela parche ge yongju ge tene chi parche ta nangi parche ta sangyu parche tamje ya tene ingsu solution ta karba tamje tene karba parche tamje salro parche tamje tamba parche tamje litrawe lat ingsu solution ta ti chikware ta ti no nga on do je me shar londo jamo ta disa mo go ta chikwa chuji tam chikware ti de kente ya huji jaro shinderwa de sar
Monsieur, cours nangsi lhaje zo tang chawade so yeshigi je jang jejo.
Ata yeshigi je se jawe gi tene yeshi da lele tubi hasok se me de yeshi ge tene yeshi da yeshi khan ro se dil ko ro to legi khan ro da me de ro ni ko da ta nang de ko nang di ta tam je da tam je kong ge chunjul mai me chige me ro wa te so sam je se ta ke ran zo ndro Australia ga ta dan re tam je ti cha ta ko ro
So regarding the structure, sorry, I missed one point out. So generally the overall structure of the practice is that preparation, main part and conclusion, and within the main part then we have these 4 sections that were clearly explained in the Degyal Rinpoche's commentary. So visualizing the channels, which includes visualizing the central, which involves visualizing the central channel within the body, then ejecting the consciousness out of the body so that it manifests in the form of the wisdom deity, and our body collapses as a corpse. That's the first part of the practice, the main part of the practice, visualizing, which is described as visualizing the channel. Then after that we have the second part, purifying and multiplying, which means purifying and multiplying the body into the offering, as described. We've been through that part of the practice here, this red feast. Now we come to the third part, main part of the practice, which is actually presenting the offering, or as it was named in the commentary, reveling in the emanated display, we can say. So we now come to this third section of the main part of the practice. So it opens with pe, pe, pe. The meaning of these 3 syllables is the same as before. With the first pe, we inform and invite all of the 4 guests, the recipients of our offering. With the second pe, they prepare to come. And with the third pe, they arrive present before us. They arrive present right before us. Mothers dancing out of the mother space of wisdom, the Buddha family Dakini in the center. So with this we begin the offering, and here for this red feast we are offering in general to the 4 guests, just like with the white feast and the mixed feast, and with all 4 feasts in general, the recipient of our offerings are the 4 guests that I explained before. But here with the red feast, from among the 4 guests, we are specifically offering to the 11 wisdom dakinis. These 11 wisdom dakinis were mentioned in the section of prose that we went through just earlier. And these 11 wisdom dakinis are the 4 wisdom dakinis of the 4 Buddha families, who are in each of the cardinal directions. Then we have the 4 dakinis of the 4 activities in the 4 intermediate directions, or margins, as it says in the translation here. And then up and down, so 1 dakini above, 1 below. All in total, that makes 10, right? And then we have the central, the main figure, who is the main wisdom dakini, ourselves, visualized as the wisdom dakini. So when it said earlier the 11 wisdom dakinis, it's referring to these. So ourself is the wisdom dakini as the main figure in the center, surrounded by 4 wisdom dakinis of the 4 Buddha families, the 4 dakinis of the 4 activities, and then the dakini above and dakini below. So that's a total of 11, right? So these are the specific objects to whom we're offering here. And in addition, we're offering to all the 4 guests, but specifically to these objects. So we now address them one by one. First of all, we offer to the Buddha family dakini in the center. So mothers dancing out of the mother space of wisdom. When it says dancing out here, it means that the Buddha family dakini she is an emanation, a dancer-like emanation, appearing from within the mother space of wisdom, namely the basics, the wisdom of with Dhammadhatu wisdom of the basic space of phenomena. So she's an emanation of this intrinsic nature. We're not just addressing her alone. She's not alone here, but actually surrounded by her 100 million emanations and retinue of gods and demons of existence. So she has an enormous retinue of hundreds of millions of emanations. Who exactly are these emanations that make up her retinue? Well, we have the 5 Buddha families in general, and from among the 5 Buddha families, now we're addressing the dakini of the Buddha family, right? But within the Buddha family itself, we find the 5 Buddha families. So the Buddha of the Buddha family, the Buddha family, the Vajra Buddha family, the Jewel Buddha family, the Lotus Buddha family, and the Karma Buddha family, right? So the Buddha family dakini is surrounded first of all by these emanations of the other family dakinis within the Buddha family. Then from them emanate out the 4 dakinis of the 4 enlightened activities, and from them emanate out further dakinis, and again further they emanate out further dakinis. So you have these emanations and re-emanations which continue to multiply and emanate, resulting in this enormous retinue of 100 million emanations. But all of them are emanations, wisdom emanations of the Buddha family dakini herself. Together with your retinue of gods and demons of existence, all of the 8 different types of gods and demons of cyclic existence that appear within samsara. When we talk about deities, and including dakinis, we can talk about wisdom dakinis, wisdom deities, and karma dakinis, or karma deities. So here within her retinue, both of these both wisdom and karma dakinis are included. But essentially none of them are actually separate at all from the Buddha family dakini herself. All of these retinues, including the retinue of gods and demons of existence, are in fact emanations, magical emanations of the Buddha family dakini herself. So addressing all of these figures, the Buddha family dakini together with her enormous retinue, we say, now come here to enjoy the blood, flesh and bones. come here, I'm calling you, please come here right now. I, practitioner, I'm presenting this offering of my body as a gift, so please come here right now to enjoy it. I present to you blood, flesh and bones that appear to you exactly as you wish. So for those who like blood, blood, for those who like to eat flesh, flesh, for those who like to chew on bones, bones. We present this enormous offering that is just like a sky treasury, meaning as vast as space, containing within it an inexhaustible amount of whatever is wished for, whatever is wanted. And exactly what is wished for and wanted is what is received by the recipient. So this is the kind of vast offering we present to the Buddha Dakini and her retinue. And having presented the offering to her, requested them to partake of it, we say, please dispel in basic space the bad conditions of obstacles and strife. So bad conditions means like the adverse circumstances, the adverse conditions of obstacles and strife. When we talk about obstacles, we can talk about outer, inner and secret obstacles. As it says in the prayer, Bache Lamsal, dispelling obstacles from the path. Dispel external obstacles externally, dispel internal obstacles internally, dispel secret obstacles secretly. With devotion, I take refuge in you. So what are outer obstacles? Outer obstacles are the obstacles of the four elements, the four external elements of earth, water, fire and wind. For instance, obstacles created by the element of earth would be earthquakes, which these days we see many cases of natural disasters like earthquakes, which cause such devastation, right? These are really significant obstacles. In terms of water, then tsunamis and the like, tsunamis and floods. And then, also in terms of wind, the element of wind, then tornadoes and typhoons. Like there was recently some kind of tornado in Texas, I think in America, which was so powerful and devastating. It was strong enough to lift up a bus, an enormous bus, and carry it something like 5 kilometers, I read. So that kind of devastating power of the elements. And in terms of fire, then fire can be equally devastating, forest fires and the like. So all of these are the outer elements. Outer obstacles, the obstacles created by disturbance, natural disasters, disturbance of the elements of earth, water, fire and wind. Inner obstacles are physical illnesses, grave and serious physical illnesses that affect our body. Things like cancer, HIV, hepatitis C, these really serious illnesses that can damage our health. Secret obstacles are the conceptual thoughts of dualistic fixation, which include the conceptual thoughts of the three poisons of aversion, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, but essentially, dualistic fixation, dualistic concepts. So these are the outer, inner, and secret obstacles. In Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo's short Bache Lamsal, a prayer for dispelling obstacles on the path, he says, outer obstacles are the four disturbance of the four elements. The inner obstacles are the obstructors of physical illnesses, and secret obstacles are the secret demons are the disturbances of the mind, namely the mental poisons of attachment, aversion, and ignorance that afflict our mind, as well as all conceptual thought. He says, revert all of these obstacles into the basic space of phenomena. So Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo's Bache Lamsal, this shorter one, is so blessed. And he says, dispel all of these obstacles, outer and inner secret, or revert all these obstacles, outer, inner and secret, into the basic space of phenomena. So likewise, we're making we're saying similar thing here. Having presented this offering to you, please dispel into basic space, the basic space of phenomena, all the bad conditions of obstacles, outer, inner, secret, and strife. when we say dispel, we mean revert them back into basic space, but purify them, dispel them, scatter them, free us from these obstacles. So that's the meaning of these lines with which we present the offering first to the Buddha family, Dakini and her retinue, like this. All the following lines, the lines that follow in the red feast, are exactly the same, but the only difference being that they're addressing different Dakinis. So like the Vajra family, Dakini in the east comes next, and then after that we address the Ratna family, Dakini in the south, and so on. But all the other parts of the liturgy and how we are presenting the offering are exactly the same. So that's basically with the explanation I've just given, we've now completed the explanation of the whole red feast in a sense.
Marza purchase again the chudubula purchase again. So this again, Machida around the cellar partition, say Kuchujana, cellar partition, and the Google Longina, Minchambujana, Ming de Chepejo Mare. Knitting when a Nyempin, Punjata, Yaboyana, Yaboyana, cellar partition, and so the Nyempin gave Mare. So Tila purchase said they did all the constant chudubula, Sejilu, Sangi, Komoro, Jubala, purchasing the purchase all the.
When we talk about obstacles, essentially primarily we're talking about obstacles that hinder our practice of the Dhamma, and our practicing our accomplishment of awakening within this life, within this body. That's primarily what we're referring to when we say obstacles, and when we're supplicating for these obstacles to be dispelled. We're concerned primarily with the obstacles that hinder our practice of Dharma to accomplish awakening within this life and body. Of course, the obstacles to our, say, long life, our good health and long life, they're also obstacles that, of course, interfere with our lives. For instance, if an obstacle occurs to our lifespan, meaning that cuts our life short, then we won't be able to make use of any of our mundane enjoyments, whether it be our good reputation, the wealth that we've accumulated, our possessions and luxuries, or even our family and friends that we love and enjoy the company of. If our life is cut short, then none of those things are of any use to us, right? We can't enjoy them. So, of course, an obstacle to our physical life, our lifespan, is indeed an obstacle, but that's not really the main kind of obstacle. That mundane obstacle is not what we're really concerned with here. We're primarily concerned with obstacles to our practicing the Dhamma for the sake of enlightenment in this life.
Oh yeah. Tangi dinima dingo go tsugri lungje di chikari Maishi in the Kajuruma, Shadurji Riki Kandruma, Chetra, Jawambundachi, Maishi in the Kajuruma, Florinji Riki Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajuruma, Nupema Riki Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajuruma, Jambiki Riki Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajuruma, Ten Kajur Riki Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajuruma, Samliji Riki Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajurma, Osajuri Kandruma, Maishi in the Kajurma, Patam Sikshasa Kandruma, Maishi in the Kandruma, Kunamani, Sirian, Dun, Samakila, Tadinimala, Tosea, Garansoina. So, my Tanzania, Tangaranzo, Dunget and Degyal, and thoughts in a pesh, Sumchusapilla, the Tos and the Mipachet and Tos, Sosotus, Machitan, Tulgiapan and Rete, Tinan Party Sosotus.
So, Rinpoche just read through the lines, the varied lines in the next few pages to give us so that we have the oral transmission for the whole text. So actually all the liturgy up to page 38 is the same as the verse that we just went through and just explained, with the exception being that the names of the deities being addressed is different, right? So we've now covered all of that, and all of them offerings, presenting offerings. And then now we come to the liturgy on page 38, which is a liturgy presenting offerings, presenting the emanated offerings, but the visualization here is slightly different than in the previous lines, previous sections.
Makyolon do it on the Nishata Gangrun to Gas, that Tambo Council, Mayashi in the country master, that Tomana Mure, Kundam Mangichian, that Taki country Rishita, Rishita, Leshita, Chato Magis, there's some Mangiva, that's something come to Ombola so bad TV. Not so big, and them to Mangiva, Chidange, Dandangaranso now, the Tomazam, Mayim begin them to drum with a color, Kondurgi, them to drum with a number me number when you come to me number Chita Sula Jeda Timbuga number and just also the number country number the diameter or Shasa control, Legi control or Kachu massing into that country Madala Namji Samji Michel number Yori. Tamji Samji get 20 grams, Samji and Nutrition in Chigayoma, Tisotanjote. Macula do it on him, country number 10, a young Keget in it. Shasa controls again to the near legi controls again to the Nitin control Matamjigi, the name Makelan do it on the mess. I came to what in a way, Nishata country in Dondukis, Kelan Nishatan Town of the button. Shatan Town was read the Yata which ever pulleres at Tiamare. She then get the Shata Rusum Tamjit, near Omahong, Jambili, Tingilam, Duzigarajin, and Tindichingi Lapshare. Chitanti, Nipala Congress around to Louis la Jensen Chimbushuja, Ni Lu, second Tanganso Corby, Zawa, Damsen, Dalton Zembi, Yulti Pumbu Matre. Dilet Chaz, Dilet Seva Chaz, Dilet Seva, the Mashika Porto, comes from Corvala, Tartam, Damsin Jeberji, shut on top of Rubatam in Chuba Persian Setukan, then make it Damsin Jebel, and Dilet Havayoma, Tinkala, Nishata Kangru Dundu. Yes, love, Chogi and Mijil Love, Kyodine, Serdo, the Gazi, pull to Sarabes, Labna, lot of charge, and he push away at the Chotin Chambusham, when he push our Lamacha, Puyas and Harley give me those saying, can I put in on the cover, Repe Mijik Tabashu, Lamsa, Service to Cupin push and again, Yata and Roshan or Tabaraki and Regigate. Yena Kyogit Lashet in the shadow of the Gazi changing pull, oh, River, the Tangi Kawa Sendo. But the thing is, Rangi, you get second pay gets Asham, but the tea you can Shambatan, Tenzin Chimajore, Tinsu Tamchi get an Tenzin than Inzin Tamchi, Chimachi, Lugi show up over it. Nashata to get to the key. Ken Dungal Junte, Ingrid Miss Antalan to roll slab. That can give back net that Dumakajis again get in a net down, doing so the Kalan digging about it. Dungal get in a good time to that use the Kalatine. Naranzo in the Chasson, but he do it comes from Corvade. Then I think that you did a Nella Gutan doing you, then I think in doing another like Gutan doing you, Chasson, but a Gutan doing you, Corvala and Gutan doing you. Nanti Cordi should have been Gundig, Tamji, Gundig, Tenzin, the Zomato, but sugar your mind, teacher Tony, my, but sugar your mind. Tamji Gundig showing that Gundig Tamji is, you miss Antalandos, Gundig Tamji in Insuros, Latin, you can Gundig Tamji Insuros, Tombanere. You can cut the answer you did not chink, neither you did Tamji there, Insu or Sonson Punch, Insu Dawson, that day you can get treasures, that day we gave you miss on the Nando. Stimul was on Zimbi Chang, that same comes from Corval Kandaji, around the Chamgurs, 17 was what and Zimbi comes from Corvala Chimwata, Changsana, Chimbiton, comes from Corvala Ching, say. Introducing to ship to soul, that's the birth, Zumzim, but Tapa Damshana in the redemption with introducing to ship to souls at that, Shiki Kantama Nigi, Ninjin to Trabaran, Nanto Trabatam, the Shirochi, Yasrota, you Pasha, you'll dump, you jet dollars at that, you Pasha, you Pasha, you jet dollars at that, not a Ninjin, but dancing, then she got up and gave me an out to troll, said. That good Chasson, you want again, the neck of doubt, Naranso, Zumwata Zimbabwe, you Chasson, you won't buy again, Zumzin, get the top of it. There they will get you pass up and you'll down, you get doubt and the Shikata, coming on the troll, choktaru zimbe inzen sem sada chokda yu takpa tang midakpa chepa tang takpa tang chepa yupa tang mepa tsangwa tang chokpa korwa tang nyante laksa bigi choktaru zimbe inzen ge semdi in yunme kongra che tu su sada yata tende zima solwa taptang do gire ta chitang giti ngaranza solwa taptang do tang chujin chetang ge do zima pashin chigwa gire.
So now the list is here on page 38. Mothers, Dakinis of the basic space of wisdom. So all of you Mother Dakinis who are emanations of the manifest from the basic space of primordial wisdom. Your manifestations aren't fixed, they appear anywhere. So these wisdom Dakinis who manifest from within basic space, they manifest in all manner of ways. There is no the manifestation is not fixed, not limited to any one thing. They can manifest, of course, as wisdom Dakinis, but also in seemingly mundane ways as well, in a whole variety of ways actually, in response to the various needs and dispositions and capacities, faculties of different types of luminous types of sentient beings. So they manifest in all manner of ways, in whatever way is needed. So your manifestations aren't fixed. You appear, but your manifestations aren't fixed, appearing anywhere. So the Dakinis can appear not just as wisdom Dakinis, but also as what we call flesh-eating Dakinis, karmic Dakinis, sky-going Dakinis. They can also manifest in all manner of ways, even as humans and other types of sentient beings. So actually, even from amongst, here amongst us, there could be Dakinis present, because their manner of manifestation is not fixed; it's unlimited, and they manifest in whatever way is needed, wherever is needed. So, mothers, for you, there is no other purpose than sentient beings. You manifest in all of these manifold ways, merely solely for the sake of sentient beings. So your manifestations differ, but the intent with which you manifest is always the same, solely for the benefit of other sentient beings. Feast as a guest upon my flesh, my blood, and my bones. When we present as a feast, as an offering, our flesh, blood, and bones, it's not because somehow flesh, blood, and bones are like a superior offering in and of themselves. But we present these as an offering for two reasons here. First is that we've consecrated and transformed our flesh, blood, and bones here into undefiled Amrita. We did this earlier on in the practice through the purification and multiplying. So all of these through Oma Hong and that process have been transformed into Amrita, and that's now what we're offering, this wonderful Amrita nectar. The second reason that we offer flesh, blood, and bones is because that which keeps us rooted in samsara is our grasping to the self, and what we identify, the basis for our grasping to the self is our five aggregates. And this is the root of samsara. As long as we remain attached to the self that we impute based on the five aggregates, we will never be free from the cycle of existence. So this being the case, it is extremely potent and effective to offer up the object of our self-clinging, the object being our five aggregates. So this is a method to sever, offering up our flesh, blood, and bones of our body, which is the main object for our self-clinging, is a way to sever and cut through this attachment that keeps us bound lifetime after lifetime in samsara. For instance, you might some people who are very generous and devoted to the Dhamma, they might find it easy to offer a big lump of gold for the sake, say, of a stupa or a project of one of their gurus, say. So you could say to this kind of open-minded, generous person, okay, you have a lump of gold like this large, are you willing to offer that? And they would say, they would immediately, without hesitation, say, yes, of course, I'll give you that. Sometimes you see people who, when overcome with faith for the Dharma, they just take off immediately all of the golden and precious jewelry on their fingers and around their neck, and just offer it without any hesitation right there and then to the teacher or whatever the cause may be. So yeah, there are people who are willing to offer those kinds of valuable materials. But if you were to say to those same very people, okay, well, instead of your gold jewelry, can you offer me a small piece of your flesh from your thigh? Can you cut out a piece of just a small lump of flesh from your thigh and offer me that? They would almost certainly say no, right? They would say no, because our attachment to our bodies is that strong. Our attachment and cherishing of our bodies is that strong. So this being the case, then this is one of the reasons why we offer our flesh, blood, and bones. Why we give that as an offering, as a method to cut through our extreme attachment to our body, our self-clinging and cherishing of the body, and our dualistic fixation. So it's a method to sever that fixation. That's why we offer our flesh, blood, and bones. Conditions of sickness, demons, suffering, and all causes and effects. So these adverse conditions, negative conditions of sickness, physical illness, demons, meaning any harm and interference created by negative spirits and the like, and all suffering of different kinds, and all causes and effects. So essentially here, when we say causes, we mean the cause of the three poisons of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, which act as the cause and create the effect of samsara, the three realms of samsara. Of course, each and everything actually has a cause and result, right? Because every single phenomena is an interdependent phenomena that comes about based on causes and conditions. So sickness, for instance, has a its respective causes and results. Demons likewise have their respective causes and results. Each and every type of suffering has its respective causes and results. As it says in the treatises, any phenomena that appears is by definition an independent phenomena. It's not possible for there to be something that is not an interdependent phenomena. Everything is the result of the interdependence of causes and conditions. So conditions of sickness, demons, suffering, and all causes and effects play free in transparent, objectless basic space. So this means that at present we are bound with our dualistic fixation by the process of cause and result. We are bound by relative cause and result, but here we are saying that may this be purified, may its relative cause and resultant phenomena be purified into the transparent, unhindered, objectless basic space of phenomena, namely emptiness, profound emptiness. Dissolve mind's bewilderment, but mind's delusion, tangled up by inner and outer clinging. So this is the current state of our deluded mind. It's bound tightly as if by a rope, by inner and outer clinging, the inner clinging of the apprehended mind and outer clinging of apprehended objects. Such is the state of our deluded mind. So dissolve this mind's bewilderment into unbellished basic space. So unbellished basic space, free of concepts, free of constructs. So we're addressing the wisdom dakinis here and saying, please make this happen, please dissolve, I supplicate you, please dissolve my delusion into unbellished basic space. Liberate causes, propensities, objectivity, and subjective self. So causes here referring to the three poisons, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, and propensities, the propensities of objectivity and the subjective self. So causes, when we talk about causes also come together with conditions. So the causes are primarily the three poisons of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Conditions are the conditioning factors of inner and outer clinging, or the clinging of the apprehended objects and apprehending mind. So together these create the habitual tendencies, habitual propensities for perceiving object and subject. So as it said here, the propensities of objectivity and subjective self. In the unborn, so liberate all of these within the unborn innately pure foundation, the innately pure basic ground. Cut off the mind which clings to duality, grasping at biases and extremes. Bias in extremes, meaning the four extremes of existence, non-existence, both and neither, the extremes of permanence and nihilism, the extremes of clean and unclean, the extremes of self and other, and so on. Basically all of the dualistic extremes and polarities that we perceive with the dualistic mind. So cut off this dualistic mind which clings to these distinctions and extremes. Cut it off within the enlightened mind of the Great Mother Basic Space. That's all.
Jamari durim dilapsa, ta sar man kingi kansa, man kingi sar gores ta diye gina tene chula durim sakin dilapsa. Ta durim dila kansa pe sa itagi sakin na chare. Yul sangen me par rangi shiris, yul korang yul mwala sangwata me mara yomares. Yul getik me par tangbut me shiris, yul gewa ta dikwa mara ji thoma gitin larang soki ji sananda, thomi ki shito tangbu ke sangye tila gyuta kengi keba yomare, gyuta keba kengi ma keba yendi kana gyugetik me pa tangbu shi se shito tangbu larang sa tsamchin tamchi ke thoma pena kundu zangbu na shi rikwa tila gyuta kengi ki yomare, gyuta kengi ki yomare dujire ke pene me ta sangma tang sa ta shi rikwa ke shi tila gewa ke pen tang kyo yomare, dikpa ke nyo kyal kyo yomare, dayi ke nyo kyal kyo yomare, tene ke nyingi penta kyo mare kan kora rangshin korong ke te trabata trabi ke sangmata cho pyo ki mato varis gyu kunde me ba uchi po se te shi korong ngo she ba ni korwa sa ge che ta nyang de sa ge shi to trubo mare ngaro semjing chui wa ke te ne korwa ta nyang de ni na wa tangi jogo jari lam jang chui me ba chokba che shi korong ke shi korong ngo se na shi korong na lam nga sa chu se ge yo mare ti ngarang so yo so kiu ke te ne mato besen jeng wala ne lam jang dre se gen jogo ta ta che shitawa gomba chopa sa cham dona ba maris chen di chi ba ka ta tu shi korong ngo le chen di ta chima sa ki te sha gyo ma chen di ta chima so so ki ulo yo wala sa ye thomi sang ge rang la se ta te te wi ngo chwe ba mi shi wi ji ngo shi zal zo den ba thop song khon je te sang ge do ti le la ba ge shi gi ne su te ye ne ra shin choba ta choba ngo shi de to la te lam go ba nyam su lam lam gomba nyangsun lang de kan du mo de chutole setine ta ti de kan ta thomi sang ki nga se chon kundu sang rang mo se res tyon gomcha me pa lo lotel chimbo ne se tyon gomcha lotel chimbo ne tene gomgyu de tawa tere de ana gomgyu jure be se gomgyu se gen isa ka ga yo mares rangpap so ripa khorang ge ngola sha chu ma do ki tere lo so ke bi gomba cha wa mare tawa tene yin chobadan chawa ripa ne kyachi chomon de chawa tere shen shakyo me de kan lotel chimbo ne se ye namdur sumde tsumika sa ye ni ripa khorong ge ngo de namdur sumdeng ge ra se le ngo nga tene gyuchama me ba ju mamba me ngo tongba ni se na ran so shar ke paru chima na la tere so sha ta nga ma ya la sha de zo ya shi chebo sha na ngo tongba chugo ra sin sa ga ho tu ju ko tu ju ge ra se de 좀 모습가 юм세래 다 셰럽게 바로 치마 юм치 보게 좀 모습가 되네 상계 탐지기 유마래 상계 탐지기 되네 그럼 야 말한 저 탑도 셰럽 얘기 되네 그 상유미야래 게임이야래 되니까 무슨 게로 юм세인도 좀 모습가 야 되러 yap다 юм니기 юм으로 오야 대 칸선에 지거래 난 미식 먹을 장치 보고 저리바 코로기 나온다 그때 샤네 저리바 온도 야트네 종선 번째니 디코로나 상기 규모도 상기 신의 규모도 난 미식 먹을 장치 보고 대응을 상기서게 이제 도지되는 로다기다 신감역 킬로미터 망고에 넘불을 쉬는 로당서 잡아마 디엔딩아나 샤르기라 샤르로 넘장 상기 먹어서가 돈 코로 르토도 먹어 상기 동으로마도 상기 신는 데서 가와 엄마래 디엔딩아나 너무 신고다 저거 신고 쓰고니 코로나 짐바시고 페 만게 차스 아니 난기들 롱되셔면 탐지 찍고 하잖아요. 미국에서 다는 지는
So now we come to the concluding part of this feast, the what's called the dissolution stages. So the conclusion and dissolution. One's own nature. So first we say pe. The meaning of these three pe's is the same as previously. One's own nature without good or bad objects. Original foundation without virtuous and non-virtuous causes. So within one's own nature, one's intrinsic nature, there is no good or bad objects. There is no such distinction between good or bad. In the original foundation, the basic ground, there are no virtuous and non-virtuous causes. The primordial ground is not something that arises from causes and conditions. It's not something created by causes and conditions. It is primordially from the beginning, primordially and naturally beyond causes and conditions. This is Samantabhadra, the primordial Buddha, the primordial first Buddha, unconditioned, not created, not brought into being by causes and conditions. If that were the case, then this primordial ground would be conditioned, but that is not the case. So, original foundation without virtuous and non-virtuous causes, beyond virtuous and non-virtuous causes. Transparency without beneficial or harmful conditions. So, this basic state, the original foundation, is completely transparent, open and unimpeded. It's beyond benefit and harm. Within the basic ground of intrinsic awareness, there is no benefit and no harm. No benefit can be, nothing. There's no benefit that can be made, no harm that can be afflicted. It's completely beyond benefit and harm, untainted by that kind of duality. All-inclusive expanse without samsara and nirvana's continuity. Samsara and nirvana are not established in the basic ground. They simply appear to the conceptual minds of deluded beings. Within the ground, the basic state of things, neither samsara nor nirvana exist. They do not appear. They have no establishment there within the basic continuum, the basic state of things. The great perfection is without purification or progress on the path. So the 5 paths and the 10 bhumis that are enumerated as stages on the path to enlightenment, actually within the basic state, within the great perfection, the true nature of things, these different aspects of the path do not exist at all. They're simply posited from the perspective of the conceptual mind of deluded sentient beings. They're not established within the ground whatsoever. All the notions of the path and all the phenomena of the path, like the view, meditation, conduct, the different levels and stages of the path, are merely posited from the perspective of conceptual ordinary beings. They don't exist actually within the true nature of things, the great perfection. Innately pure time without this or future lives. So in the innately primordially pure time, there are no past or future lives. Again, past and future lives, rebirth only occurs within the deluded perception of ordinary beings, not actually within the basic true nature of things. Now the original Buddha is awakened in oneself. The original primordial Buddha is awakened and manifest within oneself. It's taught that first of all one needs to gain recognition of this intrinsic nature. Having gained recognition, one needs to train in order to perfect the strength of one's recognition, until finally one attains stability in that recognition, or in the true nature that is being recognized. So first of all, you need to recognize, then train to gain to perfect the strength of that recognition, and finally, as a result, you will attain complete stability. In this way, the original Buddha is awakened within oneself and resting in the great ultimate meditation without thought. So ultimately, there is actually nothing to meditate on, to intentionally meditate on. There's no object to meditate on or train in. for the natural state is beyond extremes, beyond the four extremes, beyond all contrivance and fabrication, beyond all concepts and constructs. So there is no actual meditation to engage in. This is what's meant by the great ultimate meditation without thought. So rather, we simply need to let be within intrinsic awareness, let be naturally and loosely within intrinsic awareness. There's no kind of intentional meditation to be done aside from that. In the Dakini's womb of the primordial three spheres, so the Dakini's womb, the space of the queen, referring here to the great mother of the Prajnaparamita. So when it says here the Dakini's womb, we can understand this as being the basic space of the great mother Prajnaparamita. And the term Great Mother refers to the fact that the Prajnaparamita is the mother and the source of all Buddhas, but also the mother and the source of all Buddhas, she who gives birth to all Buddhas, but also as the secret consort. We have the male and female, right? The union of male and female, Lord and Lady. So the Great Mother also refers to the lady, the secret consort. So again, from among skillful means and wisdom, she's wisdom. The primordial three freedoms, the primordial three gateways to liberation or gateways to freedom, these are, as taught in the Prajnaparamita teachings, these are the ground, which is emptiness, the path, which is free of characteristics, and the result, which is beyond aspiration or free of aspiration. In the Tantric teachings, these same three gateways to freedom are explained as being the empty essence, the luminous nature, and the manifold capacity. This is enlightenment in the indestructible essence. So, meaning that within this state, when we rest, when we can just let be naturally at ease within this state, then that itself is enlightenment. We will naturally discover enlightenment. That's what's meant here by enlightenment in the indestructible essence. It's taught that some enlightenment cannot be found anywhere else. You can search for enlightenment all over the entire world in all the 10 directions, in and out, but you will not find, no matter how far you search, no matter how hard you try, you will not find any enlightenment elsewhere, outside of yourself. It said, do not search for enlightenment elsewhere. It's not like you can take a journey to Bodh Gaya and discover enlightenment there. There is no enlightenment actually to be found elsewhere. It's simply a matter of resting loosely and naturally within the basic state, the ever-present basic state of things, and discovering this indestructible essence. That is enlightenment, nothing else. So these closing lines here that make up the last section of this practice, what we call the dissolution phase or the concluding phase, use utterly naked and direct language of the great perfection. These are direct instructions of the great perfection. So with this we've completed the red feast. This last section that we just went through was the concluding section. Now we come to the last of the 4 feasts, the Black Feast. It's pretty much the same as the previous feasts. It follows exactly the same procedure and process, namely beginning with, first of all, visualizing the channel. Second, purifying and multiplying. Thirdly, reveling in the emanated offerings. And fourthly, the concluding phase. So the whole Black Feast is contained within these 4 parts.
Balas andi thorang dongere thorang sana tandi jidang dire 생기 길라 다른 저저 당고 저 토랑 당고 이바스게 망고요 이제 그 토랑 접어져 다 저저 나기도 생기를 당서라 그때다 왜나지네 토랑스들 간라 다 저저 숨바스네 다 딱다르도 니디 차가 숨바스라더니 된적이 나온던 길에 다 뒤에 당고 토랑 나기서 나프로 개파스데 다 랑기 류기 네다 나사 두말 탐제데 저 네다 동al 네다 돈라서 봐 서버 제비체도 디팁 좀 있겠다 나게데 저 디팁 좀వర్చే విషయ들 뒤에 나게 개발라 근데 펫스라고 다 당분들이 장펠들 당분 장펠 장펠 규텔라 펫스라 당초 주드는 법에 난칼라 랑이 탐을 니빈도 가르 다 당초 랑이 땡게 쳐도 투든기 바빠서 때는 투든기 얘기 바쁘기 때문에라 랑이 탐어서 랑이 류디 단단하신 예바 탐벌기 니쪽도 세대다 강틀 상니 대화 닌가 같은 이제 지우스 대대위게 네쪽라 이게 아니 수지 대두서래 아니 지우게 될 파이게 니디 dimbal에서 수니 인가에서 디니 대화에서 제니 되는 거 봐라 상니에서 돈이 강보 강들
디양케 손놈시
아니 지우라 니니 dimbal라 수니 인가라 아디 인디레 하이게 사분제 니니 미 사분제 수니 대 하미에게 사분제 디니 기디 사분제 가서스나 둔주게 사분제 프레니 프레도와 프레니 드니 이다게 사분제 제스다 두스게 야루게 사분제 디엔규가 지우 렘바 닌가 대화 상니 강틀 티툴라 이게 쭉 단디 텐들고 왕이 쭉 되어랬어요. 텐들고 왕. 미 탐지를 티 땅가나서 남준 지위에 값이야. 낸된 지위에 값서 땅 진지 지위에 값인지 이게 쭉 되네 장로. 이게 정말 엄마들 사도 홍어서 이쪽 중에 엄마니 빼면 홍어서 근데 이쪽 장이다. 이쪽 밑에 이게 쪽에 되네 사분 쪽에 장로도 하나 되네. 나라서 강력 거리 내에 게임하고 앞에나 사분 짜셔나 누기 말아. 앞에 되네 진지게 이쪽에 사분 짜셔나 감정 거라 게임 말아. 나라서는 아가사 말아서 셔다라서 말아 펫스니 디가다. 나라서 단단 디나라. 다들 뭐 이게 아까 살을 뭐 이슈 뭐 뒤지. jopa shegi lap te ngan pe gar mangure ta tine mangu cheong do mangu cheong ka mangu lap shel ta ta ani suri tu skang par do yores no ya ta ti yoba ti ochu du semjen malu pi sa ta tile ochu no du semjen ta rang chi bu ma yin ba ala chi sen hai ge sa pan ta je tsuru du o ya ni la mi sa pan ta je du ne a ni sula hama ye sa pan tu du ne te la ne ita ka tundu sa pan ne te la ne ita ka sa pan ta je tsuru du ne tu la nya lu ge semjen tham rang lu la tim sa ma je ores ta noya ne ochu du semjen malu pi diti phasa dungal kun dite sa tasgen thamchi ge dungal ta phasa tham rang ge ne nitu na timsong samba che ta ti tene dire kansa sana ya jampel kansa sana jampel sana de ta ti jampel je ta ti saike jamu re saike ta ti je ti gomi je so ti chu kusum ishe khandro ma sa te ti gi chu ta rang gi chu de la ti kusum chu ku kundu sa mo me ku do ji pho tu Troma mosunde janta tunzu saike rang isa ya ta saike koron jashen ri sare zawa ke batela ta tangbo lama ke bache tangbo tene koro ranglu thamade ke ranglu thamade ke tela de ju la tene troma namu kusum khamade de thala tene sangye changsum jubi amada de sangye ta ne chongju sangye ta ne sa ju cha ju se ba ba me ba tene rangi jubi sawe lama rangi sun sa ju de lama nanta 이 남기 깔소 짜셔서 있을 때 망고 남카라 빼고 깔소나지 차지 좀 요나지 찌기 주기야 동 침범기더니 정음이 봐 망고 쉬어서 근데 데이터지야 주네 근데 또 토마나무 dan chugu kundu sambo dan lungu tuji pon chugu choma na ti nani choma na te rang ngo de rang zavila ma yemba number choma na te kule ta che ishi duzi dus ne tin ma chu pa sarva pa ne tin duzi mar pa ne tian chulung chabu ta ur papai se de chulung chabu dango chara pa na shi ta ne ma ji choma na mi ku song tu le ne ko pa mi gi ne chinla gi ne duzi gi cha cho pa ne Then Nacha, Dunham Buddhin dance, Rangi Luigi, Neda Tamji, Nakan Chapa, and then Duntamji, Buddha Jimbus, Duntamji, Bu. Oh, yeah, then Shambu, Buddha, then Tromata, Tinjagi Nambia. Oh, yeah, then Dictip Tamji to Sulse, Dictip Tamji to Pata, Sora number, Naza Tamji Chapa, Napi number, Duntamji, Buddha, Timbu number, Dictip Tamji to Julta, then to Sul, to Pata, Sulvigi, then a Chapa Nabu number. Ne te to get ne korapara ne tinjeje ne number te sashi kabala jundu to pa sa te sashi ni kabala in ne ti dictive kan martin but drop mare na so good o tinna jing na te ne yegin mal pa to chaba na ka te ne don da chupo tha je ne kabala gi but drop na lu na kill de na kill de yo samaje o ya te ne sashi kabala to ne ba dona jedu Sanji Ichok Pass, Dusum Nibe Yonto Ducigurs, that Dona Borang, the East Wuchembo, the name Zeduk Hanji Ichok Mas, Mig Gang with the German, Jetamji Gang, the jacket in a soup, Chimpo, and Jetamji Yidu, that answers good. Naranso get me Zeutonga Mata, Mig Takit and Zeuja Tonga, Kiki Corona, Kimozo Zelda Tonga, the Miki Mo Zeuta Zeuja, Petin and Jente Korangatin. Now I'm drinking the water the Grashindo, Injo the Hakone, Donald the Ladi Choppa, Dusum Nive Yonto Duciju, that Titamji and Chapa Nata, Buddin Tamjayam, Yido, Duzina Shinkune. Suya Tuna, that is again, Grashindo, or Jurso, Yambigetine, Rangin Neton, Dictate Tamji, Kabalana, Kabalana Papioti, or Yatene Korapara, Duzi number Jonathan, Jeddah. Donald Zetuk Landi Troma, Donald Bonjeta, Tesotamchi, Hito, we get Rashin to Kurne, the Nika Kana Yon Migneton, Tonro Late in the G Tona, that title, the Hete we get to some Rashin, the Kurson, Om Ah Hong Ha Hori, Om Jumping Penalty. Chipores, I keep
So now I come to the Black Feast. As they said, it follows the same procedure. It's all summed up in those 4 main sections. In the sky 7, so it says first at dawn perform the Black Feast. At dawn, it says at dawn here, but in actual practice this means, it's usually said to mean around 1 or 2 in the morning, so the middle of the night, which is sort of 1 or 2 in the morning. But often this is practiced around like 2, 2:30 or 3 in the morning. That's probably the best time to actually do this practice. So when it says at dawn here, it means the middle of the night, and you could do this like 2, 2:30 or 3 in the morning. In the sky 7 cubits above me. So 7 cubits is like this this measurement. So this times 7 above me. Self-nature abides in one's ordinary form, so you visualize your body in its ordinary form, above you, that distance above you. And in my 6 places I visualize An, Ne, Su, Ji, Je and Du. In general, this Black Feast is performed in order to purify and heal physical illnesses. So, sorry, to clarify, not here it says in the sky 7 cubits above me, but actually this is not actually what's meant. What's meant here is that one's ordinary form becomes like 7 cubits larger. So maybe like 14 or 15 feet high. You visualize your body that large. So it's not that your body is 7 cubits above you, but that your body itself is that large. So let's say like 14 or 15 feet high. Your body becomes that big. In general, the Black Feast is done to purify and heal physical illnesses. and the harm inflicted upon us by negative spirits and the like, and also to purify our misdeeds and obscurations. That's the general focus of the Black Feast. So to continue with the liturgy, we have our body, which we'd say our body is anyway, let's forget about correcting the translation right now, but the meaning is that we visualize our body say 14 or 15 feet, much larger than it is now. And in the 6 places of our body, in its ordinary form, we visualize the syllables A, Ni, Su, Tri, Tre, and Du. These are the seed syllables, sort of essence syllables, for each of the 6 classes of sentient beings. So to go through them one by one, the first syllable A, and so these are the seed or essence syllables for each of the 6 classes, and we visualize them in different places in our body. So the syllable A is the seed syllable for gods, the God realm, and it's present in the crown of our head, meaning like inside our forehead. And then we have the syllable Ni, which is the seed syllable of humans. It's in our throat, inside our throat. Then the syllable Su is the seed syllable of demigods, and it's in our heart center, meaning in the center of our chest. The syllable Tri is the seed syllable for animals, and it's in our navel center. Then we have Tre, which is the seed syllable for the hungry ghosts or the pretas. Visualize this in our secret place, basically where our genitals are. And then we have Du, which is the seed syllable for the hell realms, hell beings, and we visualize this on the sole of our feet. Kangtil sina. Kangtil. Nikala. I said both the soles of both feet, or what? Rinpoche said no problem, on the soles of both feet. So, and actually, all sentient beings have these 6 seed syllables. They are present within the body of all sentient being, regardless of which class they are of. They're just present there as like potential causes and conditions. And these 6 syllables are also often they're also visualized when doing practices to guide the dead, the deceased, and lead them to a good rebirth. For instance, they're visualized in the same way as described here and purified through visualization in practices done for the deceased. In those sorts of practices, you would visualize these syllables that are the seeds of the 6 classes of beings in samsara, and then use the 6 syllable mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum or Om Beza Sato Hum to purify those 6 syllable mantras, to purify these corresponding 6 syllables that are the seed of samsara, the 6 classes of samsara, so that as a result that sentient being no longer needs to take rebirth. So it's like the mantra completely burns these seeds for rebirth in the 6 classes, so that they don't have to take rebirth. It's like if you burn a seed, then the seed's not going to be able to grow into a sprout, right? It's that kind of thing. So we visualize these 6 syllables in the various places, as was just explained, and from these syllables light radiates out. The light radiates out far and wide and gathers and absorbs the negativity, obscurations, habitual patterns, and suffering of all sentient beings of the 6 classes without exception. So we gather in through these light rays that we emanate out, we gather back into us all of the negativity, obscurations, and so on of all sentient beings without exception, of all the 6 classes, from the hell realms all the way up to the God realms. So we're not here just concerned with the seeds, our own, our own misdeeds and obscurations, but actually gathering and dissolving into these syllables that of all sentient beings without exception, so that they all dissolve into these 6 syllables which are in our body. So these first lines all pertain to the first part of the severance practice, the main part of severance, which is called visualizing the channel, right? So all of this is the first part, visualizing the channel. Then we have above my crown is the 3 kaya wisdom dakini, and the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and lineage gurus, clear and distinct like stars shining in the sky. So above the crown of my of my body, and we have visualize ourselves just in our ordinary form here. But above the crown of our head are the 3 kaya wisdom dakinis, Namanakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dhammakaya, Troma, the Namanakaya, Troma, and so on, surrounded by all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the directions and times, and all of the root and lineage gurus. They are clear and distinct, like stars shining vividly in the sky, and they number in the tens and hundreds of thousands. So they fill the whole of space. Actually, they're just countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and gurus surrounding the 3 wisdom dakinis, who are the main figures in the center. From their wisdom bodies, so there refers to actually all of the dakinis, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and gurus, but our main focus here is the 3 kaya dakinis, the Dhammakaya Samantabhadri, the Sambhogakaya Vajravarahi, and the Namanakaya Troma. So from among these 3, we're focusing mainly on the Namanakaya Troma. And we of course understand that Troma is indivisible in essence with your own root guru. So from their wisdom bodies, purifying wisdom nectar flows down. So this gushing stream, a gushing rain of wisdom nectar flows down from the wisdom bodies of these dakinis and all of the other awakened ones surrounding them. It descends like the strong current of a river, like a gushing, rushing river, or like the heavy rain that fell the other night. This rain of wisdom nectar contains all of the blessings of enlightened body, speech, and mind, of Troma and the others. This showers down on us like a heavy rain, like the strong current of a river, drenching our entire body. As a result, illness leaves the body in the form of pus and blood. So physical illnesses exit the body, they're pushed out of the body, washed out of the body by this wisdom nectar rain in the form of pus and blood. Demonic forces are washed out in the form of insects and worms, all sorts of tiny insects and worms and bugs. Negativity and obscurations are washed out of our body in the form of smoky black liquid, like a soot from ash, that kind of smoky black liquid. And so all of this, illnesses, demonic forces, and negativity and obscurations are all completely washed and washed forcefully out of our body by this gushing wisdom nectar that descends onto us in these forms, pus and blood, insects and worms, and smoky black liquid, and it exits our body and descends onto the ground below, which becomes a skull cup into which all of this flows. So we visualize below us an enormous skull cup on the ground, and all of this stuff, this descending stream of pus and blood, insects and worms, and black liquid that's being washed out of us by the wisdom nectar, it falls down into the skull cup, which is like a bathtub, like a bathtub that you fill up with water, like that. So the cupola becomes filled with all of this black liquid. This beautiful black substance captivates the minds of gods and demons. So this black substance actually that's exited out of our body, it appears beautiful and attractive to the minds of gods and demons. Different things different things are perceived in different ways by different types of beings, right? Like this kind of black substance might not be attractive to us as humans, but it's said that it is beautiful. It appears beautiful and attractive to gods and demons. This is just how perception works, right? Like what appears beautiful to us doesn't necessarily appear beautiful to animals. Dogs have their own kind of perception, their own idea of handsome and beautiful, their own idea of what a beautiful female dog looks like, for instance. But we don't share those perceptions, right? We have quite different ideas about what makes a man or woman beautiful. So that's just how perception differs amongst the different types of beings. So this black liquid looks utterly beautiful to the minds of gods and demons, and it's transformed by the power of the 3 syllables, Om Ah Hung, into nectar which liberates upon taste. So undefiled nectar which liberates upon taste, and not just upon taste, but actually just upon contact, whether through sight, sound, taste, touch, or smell. It liberates in whatever way it's encountered. We say Om Ah Hung Ha Ho Shri 3 times, and these syllables are the mantra for purifying and multiplying, and it's the function and the function and meaning is the same, exactly the same as in the other types of feasts where we performed the same purification and multiplying.
ta tike sebe ta chul to ro sa ta chaba pulkres de jo ipe deudus ta yakitize menchene maginya kamya ta yakitize sa hayul de thosho tere tise se te maginya kamya je thanjela de trangshin tibina de trang mare nang re dwe
a trang re khasang lang famous
oh nang ji tibe lande nam sla de nang ji tibe lande nam malu drishin de la sa thamje de ra shos ne ritu sa ben ditu bhasha kun sa ritu ge a ni su ti ditu pale tu ko a de ro ni sim yo sa ta tanda tini dikpa dan de da na sa thamje kabala nang la ta kil de ro ba o ti zu ta de duji ra hin she de ti duji thamje de ne na se je tam jan da rang gi ne chap de pulun da je ta de ne ba thamje ge she shi ko she se ta tu me ge so sa ta tab de o shi ma ne ta she.
So now we come to actually presenting the offering, reveling in the emanated offerings, the third part. And this is very straightforward, presenting the offering. From the summit of existence above down to the depths of the hell realm. So the summit of existence refers to the very highest, most elevated state in samsara. So from there, all the way down to the depths of the hell realms, the very lowest, most miserable state in samsara, and everything in between, so the whole of existence, the whole of samsara, all gods and demons of the world of appearances and possibilities without exception, basically meaning all gods and demons in your entirety, throughout the whole world, come and gather here. In this third line, it should not, the first word of phonetics is chung, it should be nang, N-A-N-G, is a typo. With this, the seeds of the 6 realms, along with the 2 obscurations and the habitual propensities, are cleansed. So the seeds of the 6 realms, the Ani, Tri, and so on that were mentioned in the opening, the beginning of the liturgy, these essence syllables of the 6 realms of samsaric beings, together with the 2 obscurations, the 2 obscurations and the habitual tendencies, are completely cleansed, because what we're offering now is all of this black liquid that we flushed out of our body, right? All of the obscurations and illnesses we flushed out of our body into a kapala. So this black liquid in the kapala we are now offering up, and as a result of offering it up to these gods and demons, it all becomes cleansed and purified. So we say, partake of this and please be pleased and satiated. Enjoy this and may it satisfy you. So may thereby all of our illnesses and negative forces afflicting us, our karmic predators, may all of these be appeased and pacified and cleared away.
Yeah, teacher Jesu, that did it. Sanjay Punje, Hishet, Titut, the Podun Modern Ludun, Tamchet Down, Nedun, Ludun, Lancha Shakun, Manu Lupan, Bakan, Kitty Fasa TV, who are the Homer roll and motion simple injurious. That big answers. Sunday is in a talking about Katsu Sen and Mindangi, and also the chat in the human. I did not Sunday shoes that Katsu Sen and Sun start to what on the Goji was all to the Seguido, Tabram to the Sunday to the same Sunday, Sun Katsu Sen and Jangutan make the Degyal young son. And then China, you think Sunday is all. China, Momushu Salvador, Oya that they drove me to that enjoy dinner Sunday. The point is no gain said. She said that she misses on it, and it dig it in a shed to me. Abashimash and Amashido, the Amashi, the Lamsa Punjashi, and she says, Tidu said that Dijamashi, the Chunjak and Mentato Mashido, the Dig Tishita, Tizu don't understand. Podun moderns and the Podun said, Port and Deshu in the Podun said, Monteshu in the moderns. Louis get the letter Ludun said, Louis Nazareth around Genela, so but not another Tamje. Nedun Gudun's negative goods, the Sajan tested, Sajan Pimid, that Mrs. Amangu, 사진들 시답도 제요 내준다 유익이 되는 다 유를 내게는 렌차스도 그냥 개와 뭐만 보는 사요 등가라서 렌차 밀레직 두자체제 디 렌차 되게 단다스로 나오게 렌차도 보는서 샤크는서도 그냥 뒤도 그러지네 세레지 개와 뭐만 이미세 디 렌부터야 개와 딩아서 세요 레 샤크는서 나 샤크는다서 말리리 밤에 바켄남기 당가랑 개와 뭐만 봐 렌차가 볼래 먹고 다다도 시실라서 같은 저 탐제 아, 근데 디그리 파사티브 코안디 세다다 카발라는 요랑 디그리 파사티브기 조아리 뚝 탐제기 디그리 파사티브기 코아 비지터데 파메르랑 몸질 점라데 렌차 코멘 탐제코 몸미게 데다 시시다 다 디디도 포든 모든기 렌차 파사 어야 디기 티네 볼레 탐제데 속 코란소야 내가 비게와 탐제 톱 코란소기 볼레 탐제사 아야 보셔서 산들게 거치버렸어 아 저것이 마켓에 줘도 다 이렇게 망고 speed channel yang kurang lebih speed doa high speed nasional
So
high speed train.
The consuming demon, those who bring disaster, the murderous execution, and knife demons. Consuming demon means is a certain kind of spirit that has this insatiable appetite, insatiable greed. These spirits are sometimes called like tebrang spirits. Demons are spirits that just, no matter how much you give them, like no matter how much food you give them, they're just never satisfied. It's never enough. It seems maybe people who have diabetes these days are a kind of consuming demon because they're always hungry. Those who bring disaster, spirits who just bring calamity, bring calamity. Then the murderous executioner. This means demons that cause loss of life, like within a family. Maybe the spirit will harm in the sense that they will bring about the death, say, of the mother of a family at one point this year, and then the next year at the same time the father of the family will die, and then again the next year another person in the family will die. This does actually happen. There are these kind of spirits that attack people in this way, killing people off one by one. Knife demons, demons who actually murder people by stabbing or with other weapons, whether it be a knife or a gun or what have you. All male demons, so demons that enter into males, possess males, female demons, demons that possess females, and naga demons, these serpent-like demons that cause illnesses like leprosy. Demonic forces of place, so there are certain demons that are associated with certain places. They haunt certain places and then harm anyone who goes there. Those of body, so demons that kind of attach themselves to a certain physical body. Karmic creditors, so beings that we've harmed in past lives, and as a result that we have karmic credit with or karmic debt with. We owe them something, so as a result they harm us because we owe them something, we harmed them in the past. And flesh debtors, meaning the beings who we've killed in past lives. So if we killed someone in a past life, now we owe them our life as a debt. That's what's meant as flesh debtors, because we killed them in a past life. Now they come back to us as trying to take our life. So all of you different types of demons, without a single exception, all of you, I give you this nectar that cleanses negativity, obscurations, and habitual patterns. Enjoy it without leaving any remainders. Enjoy it in full. Eat it all up and be contented and satiated. So I present you this offering of nectar, the same offering of nectar that we prepared and described before. It cleanses negativity, obscurations, and habitual patterns. So by offering this, we are cleansing our own negativity, obscurations, and habitual patterns, and that of all sentient beings. At the same time, we are saying, through this offering, may your own negativity, obscurations, and habitual patterns be cleansed. So this is for both ourselves and all others, including the demons we're offering to. Enjoy all of it and be contented and satiated. That's all.
What the hell? Yeah, 제와 착착 먹고 되던데 사실은 그저 합법진 방안 찍 매기 콤먹음진 마사기들 합법세로다 얘네가 합법진 몸질 생내가디 냠지서 때도 탐지게 되네 그러봐 두지 탐지 통해 쌤 가몸 Chopan Drang, Sem Ga, Da, Day Yamkis, Pauda, Dasana, Shimbu Chunkacher. Yamkin, Shimbu, Yamkini, Senju Woshu Tigli Daportus, Tamji, the Dun Tamji, the Tagi, the Jeta, the Tamji, Wotushu, Wood do Yanka, Tigli. Woshu Tigli Naporco, Tigli Napoch like your songs, that's what Durmira, Dead don't just to the wood of Dosha. And again, Tangaran so again, Kusumure, Agita Yagin, Zagging and Haki and Yukala, Kusumi, control long goodness, and Tamji, and Kusumi, goodness, chewing nearby the Jamus, News Tamji, they do not what Tamji, Kusumi control team. Kusum control Tamji, he long chewing nearby the Jamus, they don't have the again. Rituka Samjan Tamji, Jedun, Grim Tamji, Troma, all the Timmy. Tamji can chugging, Jabba Jamina, Sang Geso, Jam Desos, and Sang Gesos. Nanjukur tomorrow chickens, Korwas against Tatajit and Yandis, Tatemeva, Nanchitika Tamji, tomorrow Rojik to give us, that tomorrow Rojik to give us, Kazani Pair, Jizun Milagi, Rajona, Zujopetan, Sanki Jumden, digging Yunguna, Tonsmijik, then comes your tattle, Chitamji, military between the Shegorova. Rojitos, Kata Kunduzam, the Sangisho, Chukunduzam, Tatika, Kunduzam, Devajam, the Tiang, Chuzigor, the Kata Kunduzam, Sangisho, Pe, Setadurimsa.
So now we come to the last section of this Black Feast, the concluding phase. Having ravenously devoured the feast, they become like a heap of coal. So they means all of these hundreds of thousands, millions and trillions of demons that we presented the feast to. They ravenously, they ravenously devoured it, drank and ate and drank everything we presented to them, and they are now contented and satiated. They're completely satisfied. Their thirst has been quenched. Their hunger has been fulfilled. And they experienced bliss and joy. So they really enjoyed this delicious feast of food and drink, and now they're utterly satiated. Together, they dissolve into light and become a radiant black sphere. So all of these trillions of demons before us, they now dissolve into light and become a radiant black sphere that is going to melt into light and dissolve into one another to form a radiant black sphere, which then dissolves into the expanse of the three Kaya wisdom dakinis. So the three Kaya wisdom dakinis, which were visualized above us, right? All of the demons that have now dissolved into this radiant black sphere of light, which itself then dissolves into the three Kaya wisdom dakinis, mainly into the Namana Kaya wisdom dakini Troma, the infinite equanimity of the basic space of phenomena. So having dissolved into the three Kaya wisdom dakinis, they then merge inseparably with the boundless infinite equanimity of the basic space of phenomena. So they are released within that infinite state, in the one taste of all that appears and exists, samsara and nirvana. So in actual state, everything that appears and exists, the whole array of samsara and nirvana, are in fact of one taste. They are of equal taste. They're not different, actually. Essentially, they're no different. I told a story of Milarepa, from Milarepa's life, how he sat inside the yak's horn without making it bigger, without making himself smaller. How one time Buddha fit the whole 3,000-fold universe into the inside of a white mustard seed. These are both stories illustrating the ultimate state of things. So that's also what's meant here, indicated here, the one taste of all that appears and exists, samsara and nirvana, no different. Within this state, this ultimate state, all of the demons attain Buddhahood in the primordial purity of Samantabhaji. If I were to explain this line alone, it would take at least an hour, the primordial purity of Samantabhaji, but in any case... No joking. Is this to say that all of the demons are dissolved into this basic space, and so attain awakening within the primordial pure natural state. Pe. With that, we conclude the dissolution phase, the concluding phase, and the Black Feast is complete.
Yinayang di tene ngowa di tene tamche chigi ni jashido. Ngoni tene di ju jidi sarchi dungi lusur me. Nganang zo ge tawa chapchu sakin shapten chigi jere jegi de. Di chebi ne kapso te ju di dina shin sarchi dun shabi lusur ma zon. Dida ju jidi ta korapar gyuma lulu na shin nam dungi lusur me de. Ta dang san kenzo tamche doru ma ucho go di. Ti tabi debjig chigi yam chigi chigi kar je ma kem na ge de cheba debjig dun shabi. Ta de ine de tapcha ta digo ge de nganang zo tuzege wang kre ge ma dong 인된 되게 말에 지단기 계시된 되상도 초진도 그래. 초진데 만들었는데 초진 잘 날이 되는 계시된 바로 자를 나눠서 남과 교정으로 소라 이렇게 되는 요래. 되게 다들 자루 자당데 빼미기 야보친 자셔요. 든좀 공미기 로긴 길에 대결 공막에 따져 차주래. 대결 공막에 든좀 공막 차주. 단 디디 말하다 그래서 말 탐지식 되어서 그때 시작했다. 이나에다 좀 만족 세기도 매죠. 다 가이나면 디마나 추구 오바메라 찬사로 포텐셜로 추구 터마죠. 롱구 제리즈가 찬사로 모든 좀 롱구 터와죠. 그리고 빼마 겨워서다 루든서다 추구 터버셔 생긴 다 모아다 모함레스. 디인데 단 디자 뭐그 유주미도 야 사실은 망고시 요다 가와이나 저거 좀 비메레데. 다 추구 오바메라 아세 다 추구 상기 탐지기 추구 오바메. 저 텔레서 왔다니 그 몰음데 강타나서는 포든 겨우 세다 포든 레기 겨우 오이 디인데 안디 셰당기 거기 겨우래 디인데 탐지진 상기 추기 붙어버셔. 네 롱군이 제레즈게 롱구 제레즈라 때 창상 세게 빌라 차살비게 다 차살비들라 빼시 나결기니 뭐 차사고 다 차살들더라 차살당 멍보 롱구시게 다 들리게 되면 무엇을 먹을 거다. 디인데 다 모든 데모 되네 그 롱부 타버셔. 선 도착게 되네 그러바 랑수티 모든 이 셰당그 랑수티 포든 무엇인 도착 랑수티 모든 데모 롱부 타버셔. 다 데모 유제 탐제 뭐 탐제 때 롱부 타버 포 탐제 최고로 거봐. 아 뚫고 빼만 자올란 창산. 다 뚫고 빼만 잘라 창산. 다 빼만 잘워서 들이 잘라도 다 잘라서 잘라라 창산. 선한디래. 아 뚫고 빼만 잘라서나 다 대인지가 루든 사라 tul고 터버셔. 티무고 왕가 터버서. 티무고 왕게 되네. 티무고 랑소데 루데. 디인디 디네 루디 뷰티게랑 되네. 랑소데 간사나 루데. 디인디 티무고 되네 탐지데 돌네. tul고 빼만 중에라 서로한테 루든 탐지 tul고 터버셔. 야와 세제 용라 차사서. 다 야와 세단 제와 탐지라 차사네. 다 세제 탐지라 차사네. 니든 루든 랑서 트라버셔서 아니기 든든기 되기로 리타가 뜻으로 사년 다년 추년가 여기게 니든 세 루든 세데 루일네다 나살아서 분위기 루든 세 랑서 트라버셔서 세데 gelwasedan 제가 자주 세바탄지로 서로왔다니 랑기 니단 루든 탐제 트라버셔서 단디 모와 몰람 아 모와도 몰람을 하시기 배는 거예요. 다 모와도 몰람기 개발
So now we've completed the mixed feast, and what a black feast, and actually explanation of all four feasts. So when we practice the four feasts, actually usually you would not chant all the four feasts one after the other together. You guys did that yesterday, and there is one occasion on which we do that, when if asked to do the severance practice as like a house puja, on request for a specific reason, then there is a tradition of chanting all the four feasts quickly one after the other like you did yesterday. But generally that is not how the four feasts are practiced. They are practiced at different parts of the day, ideally together with the most extensive version of the Truma sadhana, what's called in Tibetan Truchin, the extensive Truma sadhana, and then they are inserted at different parts of that sadhana in a really wonderful, perfect way. I think it was arranged by Dudjom Troma. So ideally that's how you practice the four feasts, in combination with the most extensive Truma sadhana. You practice them at different times, at different points in the sadhana. But yesterday it's not a problem that you did them all one after the other yesterday, because there was a time constraint. But yeah, you should know that's generally not how they're practiced. They're practiced individually, and then after each, they're practiced individually, and after each, when they're practiced individually, at the end of each, you would then insert dedications and aspirations. So what comes next in our collection of prayers here on page 47 are the aspiration prayers that you would chant after any given feast. To Dharmakaya Amitabha I prostrate, may the male demonic forces be liberated in Dharmakaya. So male demonic forces are the manifestation or embodiment of anger from among the 3 poisons. So by prostrating to Dharmakaya Amitabha and supplicating him, we aspire that the male demonic forces that embody aversion be liberated into the Dharmakaya. We then prostrate and supplicate Sambhogakaya Chenrezig Avalokiteshvara and supplicate that the female demonic forces that embody desire may be liberated in Sambhogakaya. There's also so much we could say actually about the word prostrate itself, prostrate or pay homage. It's a direct antidote for pride, but there's also so much more to be said about prostration or homage. There are different types and ways of paying homage, but we won't go into that. To Namanakaya Pema Gyalpo I prostrate and I supplicate you that the earth lords and naga demons, who are the embodiment of ignorance, may be liberated into the Dharmakaya. To the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas I prostrate, and I supplicate to you that through your blessings, all of the demonic forces of place and body be liberated in their own state. So, demonic forces of place, of location, these same demons were mentioned just a bit earlier above in the liturgy. Demonic forces of place that create different obstacles, and demonic forces of the body that create physical illness within our body. May all of these be liberated in their own state, their natural state. So these lines are lines of aspiration. We also have dedication. Usually we talk about dedication and aspiration together, but there's a difference between dedication and aspiration, and there's a lot to say about that as well, but we won't go there right now.
Namu pende malu yola pende ki nakwa kawar cho dungal malu dawa dungal ki yanso tambo shos la di ngowares ne phemba ne kawar ko bathartu la dewa malu bathamche yola mu se khachib ke semje tamje la ngogi pende nakwa kawar cho ne kawar ko bathartu ki dewa de semje thamche nangka da ina ba chapra shos ti ti ne ji ta di dashin jewa ya so ngowa ya dungal malu dawa mi se dewa tamje semje tamche la dungal tamche ta raw chanchu semje choda number ta ba dashin jewa se dungal mal dungal gi janso dungal tamje kam ne kar janso na se de kamra dewa namka ta chabra shochi sati malam ta dan di magic la bring gi semje to di inji te magic la bring gi ngara so di na di ngowa ya re ne ngowa di dashin jewi gi ne deduk jewa rang gi jewa shen la je shen gi dungal rang la jewa oh ya deduk jewa asa sem dewa da dungal jewi res.
Then we have the following verse, the next verse, which is a verse of dedication. Namo, homage, may I give away all my happiness and advantages without exception to others. May happiness and well-being be all pervasive like the sky. So here we are dedicating all benefit and happiness to other sentient beings, completely without exception. May happiness and well-being be all pervasive like the sky. May it reach everywhere, pervade everywhere for all sentient beings. So here we're dedicating, but at the same time we are exchanging self and other, engaging in the pure bodhisattva practice of exchanging self and other, whereby we give away our own happiness to others and take others' suffering upon ourselves. May all suffering without exception ripen upon me alone. So we're taking the suffering of others onto ourselves. And may the ocean of suffering dry up. So these are actually words of Magic Labdran, but we recite them here as a dedication. And like I said, this is also the practice of exchanging self and others, taking others' suffering upon ourselves and giving our happiness to others. These words are so blessed.
Tadio della namoshana namje giro ti sangi chomden dik sonjores dik ne chujin se chugi jiba pena ngara so nyensa ran ro de chewe ne ko so tai konjolo shabatam je pyo sara nyalong jibatam je dansa re tadio ge te rangen ne la yang ke chwa nyam ta pa phonwa ulwa ke ne tinaji yidak ne so giro ta 디서기네 수기로 샘진 저 탐지라 되는 최대 나란저 마음 같은 거랑도 출라 바자서 제대로 사기 좀 되게 로스기 된 나무처럼 담제 유래죠 대규 대신 시에 유래 경고가 지고 기존 친구는 되게서 디바지 하면 된 경고들랑 되는 상기 때문에 세트니 최대 기긴 텐드고 왕게 정바 되네 그바 유가는 두가바 아야 되네 거라 되는 시기 때문에 군디 균진이 걸어왔다냐는데 균진이 있을 때 어야 대기가 걸어왔다 다들 다들 뭐야 들었다 택진 소리 들으셔 봤다 대기시는 땡원바 저 들으셔 다디시는 딘나 같은 거 뭐지 시기다 알아서 umata umbata ta tena jingi tene zosheda jewa tejin sujuge derwada so ditsin namochonam tamje giluji tejite jingi 계속 좀 디바지 요 rangi semne yong so tire ten de ta kula mo derwa jam mo go ta yusho chunam tamje gyule jon che tamje gyule je tegyu se yu khande je yu khande jon so tamje gyula ma te vichi ga yo mare se tegyu te shin shek beso che tamje jida jita wo je ye na ya rangi gyula te ne ke bare so les gyula go ba kraim ba se yu go so ne diu ga ro les ti di ga gijon chimben de ge so sen di gijon chimbo sangi jomden de ge so re se tan di shi ne na la korwa tene kara dungal dan kunjung ni gyudan jo ni nyangde la tene kara goba dan lamde ni ten de kara goba jo dan lamde gyure korwa la dungal jo re kunjung tene gyure de gyudan gyunde ni gi da korde gyunde ni da korwa gyunde ni da nyangde gyunde ni go ni she bare tan so she na pe me gi ga che bo dungal de ba kunjung de ba goba de ba lam gi de ba shi di she bare ta dia tene umagi kansesena chadamo ondo devi ki dembashi ki namsha semzamba ki dembashi namsha umapa ki dembashi namsha tene zoba chubu ki ne kamsa shevi ki tene deji ki namsha ta tene shena tene pe me bodi chubu tene shakro tene tan dizo tona chi shegore se banjo dedan dun tamje la chugi kalwa gyula shakwa ta tamje ka tene karabara chugi baja shakwa cheto tene digi chujin sengarang so dine kala digi chujin res.
The next verse is a verse, what we call giving the Dharma, the generosity of the Dharma, or teaching the Dharma, basically. And these are words spoken by Buddha Shakyamuni himself and found in the sutras. Namo, all phenomena arise from a cause, that cause the Tathagata has taught. So that which put an end to the cause, the Sublime Virtuous One, is explained. So all phenomena, everything that this verse is chanted, like I said, is an offering of Dharma, what we call giving of Dharma, basically teaching. Because say if when we are practicing severance, say we've gone to a fearful environment, a fear-invoking environment, and there we've practiced severance, we've invited all of the 4 guests, given this immeasurable offering up to the 2 higher guests, given it as a gift of an act of generosity down to the 2 lower guests. We've now completed the offering of our body, and offered to all the 4 guests. But we have some very, as it said before in the text, meek and humble and miserable sentient beings, like some pitiful spirits and lowly hungry ghosts, who remain and in very, very pitiful states. So for their sake, then we utter these lines as a Dharma teaching, and a gift of Dharma to them, to plant the seed of the Dharma within their mind. So these words, they were spoken, like I said, by Buddha himself. They say all phenomena, whatever it may be, any phenomena, any given phenomena arises from a cause. Every phenomena is an interdependent phenomena based on causes and conditions. That cause, the Tathagata himself has taught. So these causes and conditions were clearly taught by the Tathagata, the whole process of interdependence that creates samsara, nirvana, and so on. All of these causes and conditions in forward and reverse order and so on were all taught clearly by the Tathagata. But the Tathagata also taught that which puts an end to the cause and brings this process to a halt. So thus the Sublime Virtuous One has explained, and then what follows is an explanation of that which puts an end to the cause. Do not commit any negative actions. Practice virtue thoroughly. Completely tame your own mind. This is the Buddha's teaching. There's actually this verse, these 4 lines. They're so extremely. They contain so much. Actually, to give a decent explanation of this, we'd have to explain whole treatises, literally. For instance, a treatise by Rongsom Mahapandita called "Entering the Great Vehicle," or Maitreya's Ornament of Direct Realization, or the treatises of Madhyamaka, and even the text of the Great Perfection. Essentially, we need to explain the teaching of the Four Noble Truths, to explain the meaning of these 4 lines, and we need to explain the Four Noble Truths on all levels, as they're understood at the Shravaka and Prachika. They're understood according to the Sautantrika and Vaibhashika schools, according to the Chittamatra and Madhyamaka schools, according to the Tantric teachings, and according to the Great Perfection. We'd also need to explain to go back a step, the 4 truths. What are the 4 truths? They're the truth of suffering and the truth of the origin of suffering, firstly. These comprising the cause and effect of samsara, the origin of suffering being the cause, suffering being the effect. And then the 3rd and 4th truths being cessation and the path that leads to cessation. These 2 being the cause and effect of nirvana. Complete purification, the path being the cause and the cessation being the result. Yes, but so that's really would be the way to explain the content of the vast content of these 4 lines. But in any case, we chant these 4 lines at the end of the practice here as a gift of Dharma, like a Dharma teaching to the gods and demons to whom we've made this offering, made this gift. In order to plant the seeds of Dharma within their minds and make some connection for them with the Dharma. That's all. The virtuous one, it says in the 4th line, the sublime virtuous one, that means Buddha Shakyamuni.
Dipachia Michelle in Duatengo. Kyopuntum Soparche said the Kalombatengo. Rangi Semni Yonsun Duatengo. Sangi Chundin de Gichet Hamjeti or Jujet the Necrobara Denusums. Jujet Lapasums, Lapasum Lavas and Lavashana. Jujet Denusums, then did in Dipachia Michelle Druidene. Kyopuntum Soparche said the Kalombi dinner. Rangi Semni Yonsun Dun said the Kalan, Kazan Dodi, the Nenabasum Sonore. The Tayanti Tawago de Shabaina, Dipachia Mijashi, said the Kan Chepa Tengore, Yopuntum Soparche, said the Kan Tawa Tengore, Rangi Semni Yonsun Dun, said the Kan Gomba Tengo, Tawa Gomba Cheba, and he'll pay me to the Sabore, Jurumbuchi, Goma, Switzerland, Jessica Dipachia Mijashi, Tikorangi, Deshetic, Chosen Mongujinando. What the thing to the Sabushu, that the Shannon around Sargumari, in the China, that the Locan in the Lord could do, and Dinis Sanki Temba, Sanji getting it, Tembatin Direts, Sanji Tembas and Lung Dinisum, the Chenyan, Lam Lavasum, Yamin, Kisangi, Sanji Tembatin Duatum into the Sumlan Negre, Sanji Temba the Tires, the Sonshatus.
You open the super chase and power.
You open some sort of chase the Moba.
Tagum Chusum China.
Tawa.
Rangi Semi also do
Gomba.
So the next 4 lines, again these are that's cool. The next 4 lines. Thanks. The content again of these next 4 lines is so vast. I won't even try to go into it really, but just I'll just highlight what each line is referring to. The first line, "Do not commit any negative actions," is referring to the Vinaya teachings. "Practice virtue thoroughly," referring to the Abhidhamma teachings. "Completely tame your mind" is referring to the Sutra teachings. So these are the 3 main categories of Buddha's teachings, what we call the 3 Pitakas, or the 3 containers that comprise all of Buddha's teachings. So if you sum up all of Buddha's teachings, in terms of categories of teachings, they're all summed up. They're all contained within these three categories: Vinaya, Abhidhamma, and Sutra. In terms of the content itself, all of Buddha's teachings are contained within the three superior trainings of discipline, meditation, and wisdom. And those three trainings are taught correspondingly in the three Pitakas. Again, we can explain these three lines in terms of view, conduct, and meditation, whereby do not commit any negative actions is describing the conduct, practice virtue thoroughly is describing the view, and completely tame your mind is describing the meditation. In the past, Dudjom Troma, when he was in Switzerland one time, he gave a teaching on these four lines, and he taught on them for several hours. So that's how much can be said about these four lines. In any case, this is the Buddha's teaching. So these are the words of the Buddha and sum up the teaching of Buddha. That's it.
Solam, Jolam, Tolam, Golam, Sanji, Lam, the Lam, Tadi Lam Lion, Shepherd, Pemig, Solam Lion, Chipping, Johnson, Jolam, Presemoji, Tolam Lion, Tineta, Tolam Mosun, the Toata Lion, and Kiji to Lasso, but I go Lam Lion, Sanji, Panichu, Moshi, that is what you Mari, you can Tezo, Tabjitine, Donna Sanji, Salad, Dratang, Pen and Mike Nashira, Subtle Nashing. Map. Oh, map. Pronouns is not good. You can map second nationality, can also plug in that Google Translate. They use again. The Lamana Sanji want to do your race. This one your race. My Yunjin, Lamana to Latini, call the person, my Yunjin Goma. Troma now, oh, yet in a Yumjimo game, Troma now getting a component to show stringent Paris.
Then we have an aspiration, the following verse of aspiration. Namo, on the path of accumulation and the path of application, on the path of seeing and the path of meditation. Without obstacles on these paths, may all beings reach the state of the Great Mother. So the aspiration here is referring to the 5 paths that comprise the path that we traverse to achieving enlightenment. First of all, the path of accumulation, and secondly, the path of application, thirdly, the path of seeing, fourthly, the path of meditation, and then the path of non-meditation, which is the state of awakening itself. So here, this is an aspiration that we may traverse these paths. Again, we can go into so much detail regarding these paths, like the lesser, middling, and supreme aspects of the path of accumulation, and the 4 aspects of the path of application, the 16 different moments or aspects of the path of seeing, then the path of meditation, which includes the set from the 2nd to the 10th bhumi. But we will not go into such details because there's too much to be said. We'll just say that this is basically an aspiration that may we traverse all these different levels of the path to enlightenment and reach the destination. So these paths are like a map, a map that you follow to reach your destination. The destination is the state of the Great Mother, complete awakening, the state of the Great Mother, Troma Namo, the Great Wrathful Lady. That's all.
Ya tirin chido goa rido, ta dine mangi lung diyo shagi, di kiraan so taji goa da mola mwasir sangi bichi wa taji lung diyo gis.
Sangi?
Ta sangi yo ma,
sangi.
Ta sangi ta zoba shimbi libdir da.
So I'm not going to explain the remaining parts of the liturgy, because otherwise we would just not finish. We'll be here till like 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to give the oral transmission for the last few parts of the liturgy.
Chukutunzer Getangila Giver Giroji, Chuin Jason, Vikingo, Sweden Brigade, Zoom Sadan, Tobai, set that stop was in Dimari, Ratatan Tom, Tomachi. Introducing Jamali, Bakunga, Yonzos, Angie, Yoto, Show, Omjito, Domozaki, Kunduzon, the Jessica, the Ojo, the Dollar, then Marisuzan, Kena, Yamjako, and June, Biloto Japan, there is some way to put it in the Kuzum and some of the coming. Sigling Galva, Gahar, Yosato, Yamaku, the leggings, the Kai, Java, the Jim. Jigan, Yachin, such a home to begin in the music, Yamaku, machine long to Gala sauce. Degyal sauce. But the solution was the my Sato, Yazon to the whole Tasson. Who just their own Jimmy's done president, Marie, the general, about the mission, some watch over to the Degyal so, Jim Peso, Tamsing and Tamjak, comes from Corvaton, Cosum of the Janvier. Molam Dubani among others again, now that is due to use the Saki song, Dajin, Jojo Sani, giving to die the Pabda Jao, but the Shell, Tudu, Doji, Gondo, Chusum, Sergeant Gilo, Secretary, so Gurinaki shall see big Sanjina, taking Musumba, what should be was in the point of a jail, like it's the point of somebody. Give them a figure, we Dreamy, Dogus, I guess, chickens are usually Dagino, Dreamy, and so the ceremony of send the surgeon and the Dodging. We did the last thing to two window and temperature. Yeah, thank you.
Now let's dedicate the merit together, then we'll be finished.
Samarana Samaya, Otoson Damje, so to cheer the conjunct of the Northern Buddhism, Marini, this was the Johnson Sama, get them down Lava. Michel Pedro, Samba, Choki, Ladrosatu Samaya, Manubalaya, Sudoka, Mawa, Subonka, Mawa, Anuraka, Mawa, Sarasi, Mebret, Saraka, Sarvata Targata Mata Badra Bhavama Samaya Sadhu Om Badra Sadhu Samaya Manubalaya Sadhu Janova Subhokaya Membhava Anuraka Membhava Sarasini Membriyata Sarvakram Suzamet Zamjaya Guru Aho Bhagavan Sarvata Targata Bhavama Samaya Sadhu Om Badra Sadhu Samaya Manubalaya Sadhu Janova Didakita Membhava Sargaya Membhava Subhokaya Membhava Anuraka Membhava Sarasini Membriyata Sarvakram Suzamet Zamjaya Guru Bhadrabhama Samaya Sadhu Om Badra 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 Sadhu Tamzin Yamja Tamjik Jambi Pandit Kamran Karwa Tomran Kusum Londo Janchu Namgita Dutais and Namabishim Kusum the Paman Chamjik the Misala Chimbere Show Kambuki Java Tamjid Dori and then to them the Kemata Sujan taking Sujin the Peron Indats and the Chala Javaraj Chadom in Buddha Civic and Gorgeous about the Church and the like one. Abstention then Jorim by Tamji Sanji Tabara, the Jet together the Wamalam Kitten, Lamy, then drag on the Dawson Girware show, Jambalbo, which the Kembatan could do some young, the dark and Yavan Data and Rapto, to Sunji Javan and walk on the Shoto. Dagi give his one to bring some bushes up to Morgi, Malam Javan, Touch to tie do up on the bench, you can do some booking. Miss Unjana, don't Chanchu Sancho Rinpoche, Makipan, Kiwaniba, Kone Kondo Pelvara, Pemir Longajil Zopashing, Shinda, the Jun Congress of September. Minushe dan de yurji ngajur doji tekbe temba ne chodu mutas du ge ge kebra tamar nam ka kyong che du tem bisa sum ko ja jo de rba ko jo sum ge temba dan sa ge da ju sa ba tham ji ge ji la so yin yo so be nga dan che bo dan chu gi na mar da sam gi me ke be tembe tu chitra mamba de jin don du bre jo ya ta ya ko jin sa son sta kao mar da ke ro ji gen de de ji ji ge jo jo ji ji kan ji ge jo ta mo la de ka de ma ko shi sa son 여기 들어 practice there 뭐 저거 됐다 그때 주주 정말 이나양 되는 두주 짜는 총라 다음에 현저랑이 공다 쉬고서 뱀미하고 체셔요스 이 인류가나 대행당하는 저 주주 구원인 거죠 우리 간다 주주기면 또 주주 쭉직든 주셔도 알갈 칼라서 유지다 진바당 유지 만나서 그러나 때마다 인간 주셔도 이렇게 남았던지 objection이 이렇게 돼 objection에 된다 때문에 나라야 또 갈래 가서 갈래 가나야 된다 그래 상디요 탐주를 투지치.
So now we have concluded these few days of teaching and this explanation of the severance practice. So things didn't really work out as we planned, schedule-wise, right? We didn't have, you guys didn't get much chance to actually do the practice together and play the Dhamma and what have you. But just what to do, there was no really way around it because the organizers requested me to explain all 4 feasts, and there's a lot to say about all 4 feasts within this short time. So it's just yeah, there was nothing much to do about it. I am sorry though that you didn't get the time to do the practice itself, all together as planned originally. But at the same time, I don't think there's any need to apologize because we spent these last few days going through the 4 feasts, and I've managed to give a full explanation of all these 4 feasts to you, and. I don't think, even though you might be tired and have found it a bit difficult because it's been many hours each day, at the same time I think if any difficulty has been involved, it's very meaningful, worthwhile difficulty, right? So this morning we started at 9 o'clock and it's now almost 8, so actually we've been teaching today for 11 hours, teaching and receiving. Of course we stopped for lunch and for pee breaks, of course that's necessary, right? But aside from that, we've been going basically the whole day, so this is, I think, very worthwhile and very meaningful. Yes.
Especially translator, thank you very much. Thank you everybody.